Hi everyone, my name is Kamal Parmar and you're here because you watched one of our videos on business immigration, how to move to Canada or any other country for that matter using the investor visa options. In this video will be a lot more elaborate. We'll explain how the process works, what the timelines are, what's in it for you, and how your immigration company can help you out in your Canadian immigration journey. We'll also explain the other countries and why still Canada is the best option for you and your family to move to and start a business. We'll now explain the bare minimum requirements for an investor visa option to Canada. The first and the foremost requirement is having liquid money, $100,000 Canadian in a year plus your wife's account to invest in a business. The other requirement is having $300,000 net worth, including your investment, which is the $100,000. So $100,000 plus $200,000 works. What other requirements are is 3 years of business ownership or 4 years of senior management experience. So if you own a business in any country in the world, and as long as you have run that business for 3 years or more in the last 10 years, or you are a senior manager in any private firm or a government entity and have been doing that for the last 4 years and the last 10 years, you are eligible under this program. So this is how the process works. The process deals with 3 different levels of government: the municipal government, the provincial government, and the federal government. In the first step, we go to a particular city, we explain them the business plan we wish to execute. The city then comes up with their suggestions, or they might accept the plan. If they accept the plan, they will issue an endorsement letter for you to take that endorsement letter to the province. In the second stage, we take the endorsement letter to an authorized body which has been authorized by the government of Alberta to evaluate your net worth and the business plan. Once we go to them, they'll evaluate the process, they'll give you a score, and that score is then taken to the government of Alberta, and we get a copy of the scores as well. After this process, the government of Alberta will now evaluate your net worth, your investment income, your work experience. They will then issue you what is known as a letter of support. This letter of support is then used for a 24-month work permit with the government of Canada. The first condition is you must spend the $100,000 which you promised to the government of Alberta. The second condition is that you must create 1 Canadian job for a bare minimum of 6 months. These are again the bare minimum conditions that you must meet. You can go higher as well, and that will increase your chances of success with the program, but these are the bare minimum conditions. After you obtain your work permit, you come to Alberta, you create your business, create a Canadian job, assimilate into the society, and after 12 months of running your business, you are now eligible to obtain your certificate of nomination from the government of Alberta. Once you obtain this certificate of nomination, you apply for permanent residence, and in about 12 months, congratulations, you'll have your PR cards. In this section, we'll compare the Canadian process with other countries. The first, and we'll take the cat out of the bag, US. You need $5 million to get a gold card. And in the current political environment, I wouldn't even want my best friend to do that. But if you have that kind of money and you're willing to take the risk, go for it. You will make more money in US, absolutely. Then there are the options of European green cards or whatever cards you'd wish to call them. New programs are opening every day. You invest roughly about £250,000 and above to get and obtain a green card with rights to live in the country, spend your money. You can do business as well, but you'll never receive citizenship, or you might receive citizenship 8 to 10 years down the road, and then you get the same rights as Europeans. The third comparison that we will make today is with the Caribbean countries like St. Kitts and Nevis, which will take your money, issue you a passport. This process can be done as fast as 90 days. They will take your money, they'll issue you a passport. That passport is good for travel to Europe. Unfortunately, it does not cover North America, so it's very limited in its availability, and it does not do good to everyone. And now we'll talk about the big one, the Golden Visa program for Dubai. Pretty much everyone knows about the process. You invest in a property, you get a golden visa, you and your family can move to Dubai. But for anybody who is doing that process, first of all, it's roughly 3 times the cost of the Canadian process. Second, you will never get a Dubai passport. Or I want to stand corrected, you will never get a UAE passport. That is out of bounds for majority of the applicants. Now this is why you should choose Canada. First, it's one of the best countries in the world. It's probably the only immigrant-friendly country still in the world. One of the strongest economies in the world, part of the G7. The best part of the process is you do not spend your money upfront. Everything is spent after you obtain a visa, unlike any other program. Every other program requires you to spend that money upfront. So Canada has made a distinction and is a shining star where you are spending the money after you get a visa. The second, you're not giving that money away to anybody. That money is spent on your own business. You obtain profits while you work in the business. Your family studies, and your wife or your spouse can get an open work permit so they can work and help you along the process as well. The most important part of the benefits of doing this for Canada is your children get study permits. They study for free till high school. Once you get PR, your children are now eligible for tuition fee, the same thing as Canadian students, and they can get the best education in the world. Free healthcare on top. Sure, it's not the best in the world in terms of wait times. Free healthcare and top-notch healthcare is available to all Canadian residents. We'll give a small illustration of how this works for children who are below the age of 18 and are trying to immigrate to Canada on student visas. You spend roughly between $40,000 to $80,000 on a 2-year tuition in order to obtain study permits. If your father or your family runs a business, they can immigrate here by themselves and bring you along, get PR in the process. You'll still be able to get the same high quality education while your family gets PR. So why go for a student visa option when you can just go for an investor option? This section will help you understand the types of businesses you can do in this process. We can do grocery stores, liquor stores, restaurants. We can also help you with hotels and motels. We can do any type of business that is pretty much imaginable. You can open IT companies. We can help you with bookkeeping services businesses. So this covers a wide spectrum of businesses that can and will be established as a part of the application. There is also the option of buying businesses. These are existing businesses for sale in these rural communities. You can buy these businesses, start working on these businesses right away. Start with the profits from day one while your application for work permit is getting processed, and you can start the process right away. In this section, we'll discuss the costs associated with the application. Our charges are to be determined and depend on the complexity of the business chosen, but they range anywhere between 20 to 25,000 Canadian dollars and to until you guys get your PRs. The other big expense is the government of Alberta mandated organizations. They roughly charge anywhere between $10,000 to $12,000 to evaluate and prove your net worth and the business plan. The government of Alberta itself charges $3,500 per business application, and there are other miscellaneous charges like your medical, your work permit fee for the government of Canada, etc., etc. But these are pretty much the charges that you can expect to entail while you are going through the process. And now we're on to the most important part of the video. Why should you choose your immigration company for doing the process? We're the professionals. We know how the process works. We've dealt with most of the cities already, and we know what their officers are looking for, and we can represent you really well. We will be your friends for the next 2.5 to 3 years till you get your PR. We've been doing this for 8+ years and have been one of the pioneers for business and entrepreneur immigration applications. We've had multiple different types of applications which have all catered to investors like yourself. And now we'd love to help you out with the Alberta Rural Entrepreneur application. Reach out to us and be a part of the family.